Good afternoon and welcome everybody to our channel. My name is Lisa and I'm here today as a proud member of our Arizona Senior Network group. It's so good to be here. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm very excited about our guest today, who is also a member of our Arizona Senior Network group. He also is my boss. His name is Michael Gerity. Mr. Gerity, Michael, is one of our managing partners here at the law firm of Israel and Gerity. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon.
And why don't you tell our viewers just a little bit about yourself and the firm?
Well, I'm the managing partner of Israel and Gerity. We are an elder law and estate planning firm in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And we handle all kinds of estate planning needs and elder law needs, such as Medicaid planning, trusts, wills, healthcare powers of attorney, and pretty much everything that you might imagine for your estate planning needs.
Okay, great. Yeah, that sounds super helpful, especially in these COVID times. There seems to be a lot of people very interested in getting their planning in place, especially now. So, Michael, let's tell our viewers why should they, or why do they need, or why would they want an estate plan? What does that help accomplish?
Well, the funny thing is whether they like it or not, everybody in every state actually has an estate plan. The estate plan that's put in place for you is one that's there by the statutes of the state that you're in. So Arizona has a what they call intestate succession rules that apply whenever somebody passes away without having designed their own estate plan. So everybody's got an estate plan. It's probably best that you participate in crafting one that you actually want, that does the things that you want without the government taking care of that for you. So it's vital that you take an active hand in that. And one thing that we are big on, and I think we may get to this a little bit later, but a will, which is what most people think of when they think of an estate plan, just simply isn't the right vehicle if you really do want to make things easy on your family after you pass away and remove the stress and the hassle of going through a process called probate, which we'll talk about shortly.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good point, Michael. And I feel like a lot of potential new clients call us, and many of them are confused, frankly, as to what the heck the difference is between something like a will and a trust. You know, I feel like those are terms that are sort of tossed around a lot, but gosh, many people out there just don't know the difference between the two. Can you help us out a little bit there?
Sure. A will is basically just a set of instructions on what you want to happen with your assets when you pass away. The problem is that those assets were owned by you, and once you are deceased, you are no longer around to sign the documents that are necessary to transfer the assets. So even though you've left behind a set of instructions, your heirs, your family, they have to go to court in order to get the court to give the power to transfer the assets because you're no longer there. In contrast, a trust is basically a contract. It's an agreement where you basically create a box, a treasure chest, and into that treasure chest, you can place all of your belongings. You put your house, your car, your finances, all of your money in there. You still have full access to it while you're living. It's just held in ownership by the trust. The advantage of that is when you pass away, the trust owns everything, not you. And so the trust is still there in order to transfer those belongings and your money to your heirs. So what happens is you appoint somebody that you trust to stand in as the trustee and to do those assignments once you pass away. So if you've set up a trust, you actually save your family an awful lot of headache during the time of having lost you, and is really the most responsible way that you can be a steward for your estate and your family.
Sure. Yeah. I think that was a great explanation as to really the important differences between the two documents. And again, something we hear all the time, just questioning what the heck is a will and what's a trust. So something else that we hear a lot, Michael, that I'd love to tell our viewers about is we hear a lot about people wanting powers of attorney. What are powers of attorney, and are there different powers of attorney? How does that work?
Sure. There's basically three different kinds of powers of an attorney. And a power of attorney is a document that gives somebody else the power to act in your place, to make decisions for you when you are, for one reason or another, incapacitated or incapable of making those decisions for yourself. So there's really three basic types of power of attorney in Arizona. There's the healthcare power of attorney, which allows somebody to make decisions regarding your healthcare. Let's say you're in a car accident and you're unconscious. The doctors, there's a thing called implied consent, but for the most part, you need somebody to give the doctors the right or the permission to do various treatments on you. And a healthcare power of attorney gives somebody that you trust that power. In Arizona, there's a separate power of attorney for mental health care. And it's critical that either a separate healthcare power of attorney or power of attorney is crafted that includes the language for the mental health care because it's separate in Arizona. And then of course, the third one is a durable power of attorney, which just covers financial decisions. So for example, if you start to have dementia or something like that, you can give one of your children or somebody else you trust the power to make financial decisions for you, to pay your bills, to withdraw money from your bank account, things like that.
Okay, great. So very, very important documents to have, certainly. Again, an important part of the planning process. I was just sitting here.
I should add something else, which is that a will doesn't take effect until you actually pass away. So a will does absolutely nothing if you become incapacitated, which is one of the reasons why the healthcare power of attorney and the financial powers of attorney are so important.
Sure, absolutely. The other thing we hear a lot that I'd love to talk to our viewers about is with talking about a will, what is a living will and how does that differ from a last will and testament?
Okay, so a last will and testament is what we talked about before. These are the instructions that are handed down in order to give the court the directions on what to do with your assets. A living will, on the other hand, are a set of instructions for how you want your healthcare to be administered. Absent the powers given to the healthcare power of attorney, it's essentially setting forth the specific directions that you want. Say, for example, whether you want to be kept on life support after you enter into a vegetative state, things like that. So a living will is really a set of instructions that you can set forth saying, these are the kinds of care that I want to be given to me or not be given to me under certain circumstances.
Okay, great. I feel like a lot of people refer to a living will sometimes as a healthcare directive. So we hear that term a lot.
Or advanced directive, another term is an advanced directive.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thanks for explaining the difference between those two wills. And Michael, is it a big deal if I don't have an estate plan?
Well, as I described earlier, if you don't have an estate plan, you actually do. And it's just one that's forced on you by statute. We always recommend that people take an active role and participate in carving out the estate plan and making it so that their heirs don't have to go to court. Their family doesn't end up in the wrong place at a time that they really would rather be dealing with something else because you've just passed away. So it's a time of loss, and we think that's probably the worst time to force somebody into court. The proper estate plan takes care of that for your family.
Okay, great. Thank you. Very good, important points, certainly. And then I would say, just as a last question, Michael, and this one makes me smile, what sets us as Israel and Gerity apart from other estate planning law firms out there?
Well, we have a fair number of people come here after they've had work done by somebody else, and sometimes we're a little surprised at the lack of care. We really don't sell you a set of documents at all. Our goal is to develop a relationship with our clients, and we really have a lot of buy-in with all of the people that work here. We really want to build the relationship and really have our firm be a trusted source for your family, someone who not only you can come to, but after you pass or if you become incapacitated, your family feels comfortable coming to us. So what's important to us is developing that relationship. We're not a document shop. We're not going to hand you documents, have you deal with us on a transactional basis and walk out the door. We're really going to develop a relationship with you. And that's what we relish. We really enjoy that about the practice. It's the reason we do this area of law, because it's an area where it's not a battle. We're helping our clients and really getting to know them and assisting them with something that takes a huge burden off of them and allows them a lot of peace of mind.
Yeah, perfect. I couldn't agree more. We're very lucky that we do what we do, and we just have a great time helping our clients out there. So thank you so much for joining us, Mike, today. And let's just, we'll end this episode with telling our viewers how they can reach us.
Well, we can be reached at either the phone number 602-274-4400. That's 602-274-4400. Or you can go to our website, which is estate-planning.law, estate planning law.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us today. Again, Michael Gerity from the law firm of Israel and Gerity. Thank you, folks, for joining us today and hopefully enjoying and getting some great information today. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening.
You
Thank you,
too.
Michael.
Thank you.